Hello and welcome to Weekly Open. I'm Ledger here with Josh and Brian, whatever. I have a naming crisis on my hands. I call myself Brian on the show usually. Anyway, this is Weekly Open. It's brought to you by FTX. Go to weeklyopen.com/FTX. Make a trade there today. You can trade all the stuff you want directly from one asset to the other. You can connect your bank and get directly set up so that you can dollar cost average in if we get a big dip, or dollar cost average out if you're in euphoric profit. You can do it there. You can get 5% interest after your first $10,000. You get 8% interest on your first $10,000, which is industry best for sure. And thanks to FTX for being our partners. weeklyopen.com/FTX. Go there right now. Thank you. Gentlemen, how you doing?
Good.
Josh?
Nothing to complain about.
Just waiting for the dump. Waiting for all the NFTs to go to zero. That's all.
Sir, don't flood my bags.
I don't want people to lose money, but I want NFTs to be worthless. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. It doesn't, whatever.
I'm not saying I want you to lose all your money.
I mean, I've seen it's just like the most ridiculous, stupid, nauseating stuff. I'm sick of talking about it. Then to see like AVAX and all this other junk popping off, it's just like, oh god, just wipe it all out to zero. Just end it.
Did y'all see that Suzu and Three Arrows Capital
started the NFT thing,
NFT fund? Yeah, so
hilarious.
I mean, I get it. Why not? It's fun.
Why not? I mean, they have a DeFi fund as well, so why not just like keep doing what they're doing? It's been working, so
it brings them exposure to a part of the market that, if nothing else, is going to stick around. It'll have bull and bear markets, but it's here to stay. Sorry, Josh. It's going to be part of the ecosystem.
It's here to stay. We'll find out in 6 months. We'll find out in a year. I mean, it's a bit early to say it's here to stay. When you have billions of dollars to just piss away on NFTs like they do, sure, buy whatever the bleep you want. I don't care, but it just sends this signal to people like, oh, look, this guy's doing it. Like Rookie posting about NFTs. Like, I'm happy people are making money. It's like, Jesus, dude. It's worrisome to me. That's
I've seen the first, like, and I don't want to name names because I get in trouble all the time, but like I've seen a bunch of influencers actually flip from NFTs are shit to actually bringing out their own NFTs. Which is hilarious in its own right. So I could see that be like an indication that we're starting to get like completely crazy, but who the fuck knows in this market, right? Could still do like another 10x, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait, you didn't get the Weekly Open NFT drop? I thought you'd be in on that.
Shit, I missed it. No, but fuck it, it's insane. It's insane. Everyone tries to start fucking NFTs right now.
Well, there's no denying how active OpenSea has been, kind of across the board. Like, it's just been, the volume is insane, right? Like,
it's like if ICOs happened on one exchange. Like, that's what's happening on OpenSea right now.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing.
The 7-day volume is up 360% on CryptoPunks. So since we last talked, the volume on CryptoPunks is up 360%. A bunch of Chinese billionaires apparently bought some. This weekend, the Bored Apes skyrocketed to a lot. I don't know, 60 ETH floor. It looks like it's cut in half since then because they essentially had an airdrop. I mean, it's just like those old airdrops in 2017 where an altcoin moons and then has an airdrop and then it's kind of, marks the local top. Looks like, yeah. Oh no, the floor is still pretty good on these. OpenSea's just wrecked. So it went from 60 to 45 or so. So that's what's interesting. And like all the ones that people got airdropped, like these Mutant Ape Yacht Club things, they're doing really well. So like people aren't getting wrecked yet. They're just getting a lot of paper wealth from their apes and punks and whatever else. And like, I don't think we can ignore this. Like, we can just poo-poo it on the show, but Steph Curry changed his profile picture to an ape this weekend. And he's maybe the second most famous basketball player right now. And it's hitting the culture. It's easier to understand than buying altcoins. And I think it would be a mistake for us to ignore that. So.
Well, that's what I was going to say, which Chad is mentioning as well. It's easier for people to buy one thing, even though it's a JPEG or whatever it might be. It's much easier for people who don't understand crypto to understand that. And what you need for stuff number to go up is new money to come in a big way. And like you said, Chinese billionaires, rich people of all ilks are definitely getting in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've still been a net buyer on NFTs, but maybe I'm the top. I don't know. Like, I've been switching some of the stuff I've been buying, but like I minted some mutants. And you know, they did well. But I've also like been trying to buy some of the stuff, the cheaper. I can't do Fidenzas that are like $1 million, but there's other art blocks stuff out there that I think is pretty cool, and trying to buy stuff where I think the money will move. Kind of like you know, these are non-fungible. They're sold in whole units. So like, I think the money will move kind of down the waterfall of what people can afford and what they like. So, well,
eventually we're going to see fractionalization, which I think we already have seen that of certain things when they get too expensive.
Oh yeah, it's already happening. But
yeah,
we don't want to ignore it for a variety of reasons. One, a lot of money going there. Two, impacting the ETH burn, ETH fees, all that. Like, OpenSea by far the highest gas user on Ethereum, and also responsible for the most burning of Ethereum. So anyway, it's interesting. A lot going on there, and we can complain about it, or we can just recognize that it's occurring. And it's,
or do both. Why can't we do both? You know,
we can do both.
True.
Don,
That's also.
Do you want to walk us through what you see on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then Josh, you can do the same. Just kind of
one thing real quick. Also, if I owned a CryptoPunk or whatever, I wouldn't tell anybody, even though that's the whole like point of owning them. It's like owning a Lambo. It's like owning a Lambo without telling anybody, because you're KYCing yourself to the world, basically. It's like, this is my wallet. This is all the stuff I have. You know, it's like ENS stuff. I have an ENS, it's fine, but I'm just saying, like, people should be careful about this stuff.
Multi-wallet. Have a public one and a non-public one, in my opinion. I mean, I bought
100%.
I wanted to shill what I bought last night, so I actually did it from a public wallet. But like, it's because I liked it and I wanted to shill it, and I don't think I'm going to flip it for a while. Like, I'm going to see if I can get lucky and Fidenza it. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but I did it purposefully from a wallet that has my name on it, you know?
I'm just saying to people, be careful, because, you know, somebody's making a list and checking it twice, and their name is Nansen or Chain Analysis, so be careful.
Gotta be on your toes with OPSEC in general in this space. And that's like the easiest way. Whenever everyone is flexing what they have, like, that's the easiest way to fuck it up. So definitely agree there. With regards to Bitcoin, monthly still kind of looks giga shit to me. I've been looking at this chart for a while now over the weekend, and it just legitimately looks like we're going to get a lower high here, and then lower. But there's no real reason to think that on the lower time frames, right? The weekly is still bullish as long as we're holding 45K. And the daily is still bullish as long as we hold and this is something where it depends on kind of your stance. I think if we start breaking like the support we're at right now, this is going to accelerate down, and then we're going to 40K-ish. And if that breaks, it's going to completely roll over. If it holds, we're just going to make a second leg, and then up the move continues, right? But for me, kind of like the monthly looks shitty, but you can't really act on it. And the only way to act on it is if the weekly and the daily start rolling over. So if you want to be super bearish, I think it's still sane to kind of wait for, like, let's say we lose 45K on the weekly and then start losing 40K on the daily, then it starts looking like the complacency tops in. Until then, you can do whatever you want. I think it's pretty 50-50. And if you're bull, you want to be positioning for bullish price action. If you're bear, for bearish one. And then with like the invalidation of, like, the bears have an invalidation above 50 and the bulls have an invalidation below 40. And that's pretty easy, I think, to kind of position around your belief where the market is going to go. It's actually pretty nice. Like, if you have a strong belief, for me, it's like, I don't. I feel like we should be heading down, but I'm not, like, the chart isn't telling me in, like, particularly hard, okay, this is going to crash. And there's no real reason other than, like, some NFT mania where I think, like, okay, the market might be overheating a little. So for me, it's kind of like, it's more 50-50 than anything.
Josh, you have anything to add to
that? Yeah, just, I think September's going to be a nothing month, and then we'll know by October, really. And like we said sort of in the pre-show, I think it's just flip a coin right now. It could go either way. It looks okay. Like, I agree with Don. It looks okay on low time frames. High time frames just need some time if it's actually going to do anything for me. Like, the daily cloud isn't flipped bullish yet on ETH or BTC, and altcoins are doing altcoin things. So, liquidity's elsewhere right now.
What does altcoins doing altcoin things mean?
Like, they're mooning, right? Like, XYZ, flavor of the month, flavor of the week, spirit boo garbage is mooning. And when stuff like that happens, that doesn't bode well for the majors.
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a rotation of capital, but what's interesting is it's not across the board, like it's rotations. It's the AVAX stuff when
it's flavor of the week.
The Phantom stuff is going right now. And it's Solana's been going ballistic. I mean, it hit $100. I think it's still at $100. Let's take a look at Solana. This one it's at 104. Wow. So here's the Solana daily chart. I mean, it's like it hit the 200-day moving average. It was buy and hold on for dear life because it 5x'd after that. Like, people make fun of me for these 200-day moving average things, but I mean, this just happens over and over again in bull markets, at least. It broke its trend and it just absolutely went bananas. Oh, I already had it on there. Does it look, when you look at it in log, it looks healthier than when it's in linear, but like, this is you can't ignore this chart. It's beastly. So it's where the volatility is. So it's, you gotta follow the action, in my mind. When this broke out against all pairs, it went up. And then we're seeing that happen in some other stuff now. So definitely been a rotation. Like, I look at Curve or Aave as decent proxies for like broader DeFi. They just can't get off the ground, like they're not making new highs. It's all the layer one stuff is where the moves have been. AVAX is consolidating or double topping, depending on what you choose to call something, prior to price expiration. But yeah, all this happening while ETH fees are really, really high, while ETH spends, 3 weeks? It's been consolidating since August 7th. So the month of August has been basically without a new high, but not without a low either. It's just a massive consolidation. We are due for a huge move in ETH and getting there in BTC as well, although BTC looks a little more sluggish to me. It's just my 2 cents.
The fee burning for ETH will catch up eventually. Like, the supply reduction is massive, but the issue, like you're saying, is just the fees are still too high. Like, that's going to price a ton of people out.
And that's
people are going to go elsewhere, and they are.
That's what they're doing. Yeah, that's what Solana, AVAX, Phantom, all these are either layer one alternatives or EVM compatible places to trade the same stuff. Like I'm having a freaking blast in the AVAX ecosystem. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. You know, like I showed charts, Joe chart, like this thing dumped 50%. This is an hourly chart, 50% in like one day. So I bought it this morning and I just was like, all right, freaking buying the dip and I'm holding on. But the bridge on AVAX to AVAX was really crappy until about 2 weeks ago. And as soon as the bridge was enabled and it was easy for people to move over there, they moved over there and they started buying things. And I think that's going to continue. Like these are attractive ecosystems. It cost me 40 cents to make any transaction on AVAX. That is far superior to, I mean, I think I spent $75 on just a run-of-the-mill Ethereum transaction this morning. So,
but how much does it cost to send on ADA?
I don't know. Who cares? The point is like when there's a breaking point, right?
It was a joke, Brian. It was a joke.
I know. If it's like, but if you have a network that's EVM compatible, you can do all the same stuff that's fun on Ethereum on that network. There's volatility. There's altcoins. There's not a great NFT exposure yet on most of these, but the NFTs that do exist on Solana and stuff are going ham. But you can trade alts and you can participate. It's much more attractive to do it in those places. So I'm bullish the altcoins in those places. I'm bullish those ecosystems until ETH layer 2 figures itself out. And Arbitrum is just launching right now. That's very much worth noting. Super curious to see what happens there, but I am not going to ignore these ecosystems.
Do you view these chains as you viewed BSC in a sense that you felt like they were ETH layer 2 or?
Yes. Some like AVAX and Phantom are completely EVM compatible. So those are like more decentralized versions of what BSC was. And so like I would feel more comfortable on those. Matic is the same way, but Matic was a lesser security model, whereas like AVAX and I think Phantom, but I don't know Phantom as well. Like AVAX's security model I'm pretty comfortable with. You know, there's a bunch of nodes. The node staking is quite distributed, so it's as good as most of the like proof of stake ecosystems, and it's fully EVM compatible. So I'd much rather put money on there than I would on BSC, where it's like 12 nodes and they're all like tightly related to Binance, you know?
Yeah.
Also the transactions per second, like Binance was a step above Ethereum, which was helpful. But then when Binance really got a lot of traffic, it just didn't hold up. You know, it was 100 transactions per second instead of Ethereum's like 17 or some whatever. Whereas, you know, AVAX and some of the other ones, Solana, they're like thousands. And so they just scale better. And I'm not going to, these are the charts we longed for years, you know, like these super volatile liquid altcoins. And I can sit there and hope that Ethereum moves 10 or 20% one way or the other, or I can go like have fun with volatility and do what we try to do and stack coins. Do y'all think I'm crazy? Is this top things?
No, I think it's the same approach. Like you don't want to be trading the stuff that doesn't move, because then, I mean, what the fuck do you trade, right? You're just going to be cut apart by fees, basically. So the more something moves, the better. It's just like whenever you have something new, it's pretty difficult to kind of use TA on it. You just buy when you think the hype's coming in, and then you sell when you think it's slowing down. But I think it's the right approach. And it's something like I want to actually like if I see like major dips, I actually want to get in on some of those as well, just to kind of test the waters with not too much. That might be top things at that point.
I don't think so. I think you'd you have to be comfortable with the volatility, right? Like you don't go there and if you can't accept a 50% down candle overnight, then you're using too much money, you know?
Yeah.
But the beauty of these is you can use a lot less money, and most people don't have enough money to trade on chain on layer 1, which is, by the way, where the activity is. Like the centralized exchange altcoins, for the most part, just are not fun. You know, like it's not near the interest and like the market caps are much more gigantic. You can't goof around. So like on chain is kind of the equivalent of the 2017. Wow, I just forgot the name of the exchange. What was the name of the exchange? Not Bittrex.
That was DeFi, Delta, whatever.
With a P. Not
Poloniex. Oh,
Poloniex.
yeah.
Poloniex.
Okay, I was like there's no way you've forgotten those.
Yeah, I did. all the altcoin activity was Poloniex and Bittrex, and now all that stuff is on chain because it's just, you know, that's where the activity is. So that's where I got to go. That's where I am.
Mm-hmm. But like it's kind of funny how we have like the ICO stuff mirrored in the NFT space, and then we have like the low caps, whatever, pumping as well. Kind of reminds me of 2018, not gonna lie. But I mean,
it could be.
Maybe it's the super cycle, and I honestly I don't want to discount that like idea. I don't think like it's crazy to play for it, given that like the positioning yourself for it is going to be really hard the moment it's going to be proven true, right? Like the moment everyone agrees that it's super cycle, whatever, it's going to be impossible to get in. So I don't hate on the people that are like super bullish into resistance here, which is like 50K, just based on that fact alone. That's why I've been saying like lower down might make more sense to like really flip bearish, because yeah, if it truly is the super cycle, I mean, it's got to be really fucking hard to kind of get into it and take advantage of it.
Yeah, I can talk a little bit more about just what I see macro-wise, and it's consolidation between important levels. You know, I'm a P-brain. 20-day, 200-day, we're above it on Bitcoin. We're under this like giant distribution range that we had earlier in the year, but like we recovered and we're not instant nuking. So my default is going to be consolidation before we grind up some more. And Ethereum is very similar, except Ethereum relative to its 200-day at least has a lot more room to gap down if we do break down, which also makes sense, right? With the reflexivity of the market, if Bitcoin loses its 200-day, ETH will go to its 200-day, which is 2,400. That's a buy though. That's not like a exit all markets. That's a get in Ethereum. And hopefully if you're playing in other things, like you can figure out a way to do that to gain exposure at that time. That's my personal view of the two majors, but like Bitcoin's not really giving me a good reason to get out. Ethereum is so deflationary, has so much network activity, or not deflationary, sorry. It's burning so much Ethereum, and it's so much more disinflationary than it was. Like it's kind of the premier case of what you would hope.
You could just say pumpamentals, because that'll clear it up for everybody. People don't know what inflationary and disinflationary. They don't know what any of that stuff means. Just say pumpamentals.
The pumpamentals are strong, and the layer 2 compatible ecosystems, like that's all so bullish for the broader outlook for Ethereum for me. I'm hyper bullish. I don't know what else to say. Like I think all this normies getting into NFTs is just extremely bullish for Ethereum, because they're all seeing Ethereum be put to use for better or worse. But like OpenSea is going to go layer 2. What if OpenSea does a token? Don, why don't we talk about that? Like you said you'd ape it. I think it'd be the number 3 market cap overall within weeks.
It probably would launch already at like a stupid valuation.
Yeah, like top 10 immediately.
Yeah, where it's like, okay, I mean, you're still going to make gains and you're still probably going to pull like a 2x, 3x, 4x. But like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be one where it's like they launch and then it's too obvious to get into the top 10 to not launch high.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't even know who their investors are. Just going to assume it's Andreessen Horowitz and, you know, all the same ones. But like, if you're invested in equity in OpenSea, and you gotta be wanting them to like release a token and give you tokens as an investor, right? Like, I can't imagine. Like, they must be just licking their chops. They're making hand over fist in cash right now, though. So I don't know if they're fully incentivized to do that, but
yeah, why would they? Why not just do a raise traditional?
Because they'll make more with a token.
But they have a legitimate business. Like
but you could say this. You could say the same about every exchange, right? Why would they make a token?
Right, and they pretty much haven't, right? The centralized exchanges.
I mean, most of them have. Like Binance has its own, and then you have FTX with its own, basically. Like most of the major ones eventually do one. Even like fucking Cryptopia had one, didn't they? I think they did something like that before they rocked.
I don't know.
Have y'all followed the super rare token launch?
I haven't. What's that?
So super rare is one of the lesser exchanges, but it's where you might do like more one-of-one type NFTs, and they launched a token, exactly what you would expect from OpenSea, and it's worth $300 million market cap, and fully diluted $2 billion in its number, I don't know, in market cap rank, but it's done very well since it launched. So as a potential model, it's worth considering, and it's like tiny relative to what OpenSea would be. They airdropped their tokens, and it was at 26 cents, and it's $2 now. So that was on August 17th. So in 2 weeks, it's hit upwards of like a 10x. I think the OpenSea token would do very well. I just think if you're not paying attention to the trends in this market, you're missing massive opportunity. And I think that we are seeing live massive opportunities, like some of the biggest I've ever seen since I've been in crypto. And like I look at this and it just looks like consolidation ready to blast through the ceiling on Ethereum itself. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just top things, but I'm just hyper bullish. Just hyper bullish.
The thing is, like, the problem that I have with ETH right now is like that it's literally at the last resistance before. Like, it's a problem, but it's also something that's decent if you like have strong enough conviction, right? Because if this resistance gives out, like the 3.3K ish resistance, I mean, there's no real resistance left, so it can go hard. It's just like if you're like hyper bullish into this, you're hyper bullish into resistance and into the strongest resistance that we have, right? So it's like if you're right, you're gonna get by like a giga chat dildo, I think, and if you're wrong, the opposite's gonna happen, right? So like you're gonna see like a drop off. What is this? Yeah, like easily 15%, if not more. If it drops down, I think. And if it goes, I don't see a reason why it would stop before all-time high, right? So it's like this situation where if you can stomach the risk of not knowing, not like for me, this is pretty much the thing that I try to avoid the most in these situations, being bullish into like the strongest support or the strongest resistance, or being bearish into the strongest support. But if you're right at that point, it's the same thing with 6K, right? Where we had like 6K on Bitcoin worked amazingly well for people that were bullish on it for a couple of times. And then if you were wrong, you got fucked. And if you're a bear into 6K, you got rewarded massively for it. So I think it's the same situation, where it's like you have a lot of risk right now on ETH, but the reward, you could justify it, I think. For me, it's not a trade though. Like I can't justify like longing into like pretty much the resistance on the chart.
I mean, so the entire market, what Ledger's getting at, everything's FOMO right now. Okay. Mm-hmm. So if ETH doesn't have this FOMO mentality to it, it's going to do a bunch of nothing, right? So it needs the dildo to bring people in for sure. It needs to do anything, literally. I'd prefer it to retrace personally because I feel more comfortable buying lows than highs. But if it breaks out, you can't not buy that, right? Even if it's a fake out, even if you think it's bearish, you have to, because that's where we're at in the market collectively right now. Everything is just FOMO city, frothing at the mouth, frothing at all orifices right now, everything. So you can't just say, I'm not disagreeing with Don. I'm just saying, like, you can't ignore it if it breaks out. Like, that's it. Okay, here we go. Right? Just join the rocket ship.
Yeah, that's basically my argument too, though. Like I'm saying, like if this breaks down, it's probably not going to stop, and if it breaks up, it's probably not going to stop. And then do whatever you must. Like I don't think 2.7K is going to do much if it breaks down. Like it's going to bounce a little, but then it's going to go lower. And I think 3 like whatever next resistance is like 3.8K. I don't think that's going to do jack shit if it breaks to the upside. I'm going to have
all-time highs if it goes to the upside, right?
Yeah, like I don't see a point. Like it might. The thing, if it breaks out to like all-time highs, right? I think if it pulls back, like you buy the first pullback, and then you target higher even, and maybe you don't get a decent pullback. Like that's the thing. That's why I've been like repeating myself over and over and over again. Like if you're hyper bullish, it's not necessarily the worst idea to be positioned with some risk on.
Can I highlight a trade? I
Yeah.
highlight a trade in this regard of what you're saying, where you can establish your risk profile? And I don't have access to deribit options, but somebody reminded me I could buy these on Ledger X, so I'm probably going to do this. So I'll tell y'all what I think the trade is prior to doing it. If you're bullish Ethereum to break up and it's not going to stop at 3,800 or whatever, the likelihood is we have new highs this year. At the money December 31st 3,200 call, so that's the exact price of Ethereum right now, is $800. So if you think you break even ETH at 4K, but your risk is what is 800 over 3,200, 25% of the price of one Ethereum, right? So it's a fixed risk of 25%. You can be in dollars outside of that. Downside 25%, upside much more than 25%, because if it doesn't stop at 4K, what if it goes to 6K? That's a 4x return or something like that at the expiry. So if it makes new highs, your upside is gargantuan on this 3,200K or 3,200 call. Now let's extrapolate that same idea and instead buy a 6K call. Now your risk is only $260. So your risk is now below 10% of the price of one ETH. And the chance of 6K hitting before the end of the year if we make new highs is very high, but more importantly, just like the structure of an option would make these do very well. Additionally, we have been consolidating for a month, like we highlighted, so the implied volatility has really worked its way down. So when you're looking at trade, you look at where the contract started versus where it is now, it's really highly depressed. And like I'm just gonna buy these. I'm going to go freaking sign up for Ledger X, and I'm going to buy December 31st options because I do think we're going to break all-time highs on Ethereum this year. I think the fundamental catalysts are enormous, and I think this is an asymmetric trade that I'm willing to risk a 10% position, 10% of my current position on a blend of these two contracts, kind of the at the money and way out of the money combination, and I think that it could end up being very, very rewarding. So that's my trade idea of the week.
I like it. I think in general, like the kind of volatility play is probably the best one. I don't think this is going to go much longer sideways.
The chat's yelling at me for interrupting you, so I'm sorry, Don.
No, I don't think I had anything more to say. Like I was just like talking about Eve saying like, if it breaks out, it goes up. If it breaks down, it goes down. There's not that much to it. Sometimes in the market, we're in a situation where it's just like, if it runs, it runs. And if it dumps, it dumps. And I think we're exactly at this point. Like either the complacency bounds people are right and we dump from here. And then I think we dump really hard, or they're wrong. And then they're going to have to FOMO all the way back into their positions, and they're going to get wrecked doing so. Short's going to get wrecked, and then it's going to catapult upwards. So
that's partly why I like that out of the money option, because it's at 6K strike, right? So you're paying 10%, but you could go to cash and then you could buy that option. And if you're wrong, or if you're wrong, you've lost 10%, which is better than you would do if you stayed fully exposed to Ethereum, right? Mm-hmm. If you're right, even with only 10% in on those options, you'll probably outperform the spot move in Ethereum. So the fixed risk and massive upside is incredible. Like what if Ethereum goes to like 8K? So you 10X those options, right? So you're making $2,000 per call. and it's only 10% of the price of Ethereum right now. I just like the reward structure on that, and you can do it completely unexposed outside of that premium, and you can also sell $6,000 calls between now and then and make up some of the cost of the premium.
Mm-hmm. One thing that we have to talk about is that, like, obviously if this market just goes sideways, which I don't think any of us expect, but I mean, can still happen. You're obviously gonna be shit out of luck, but I mean, that's just the cost of trading, right? There's no certainties in this kind of thing. But I'd be very, very surprised if we're still going sideways going into December.
Yeah. So just if you could also play the volatility play. You could play that option concept both ways, right? Buy 2,400 calls and buy some, call it like all-time highs, 5K or 4K or something, whatever the structure of it says. Now you have to be right that it's going to be hyper volatile in that environment. You're going along a straddle or along a strangle. That's actually along a strangle. If you do that really widespread, I wouldn't do that. But you could buy at the money at both. And as long as we go far enough one direction or the other, you're going to win. I think that's less fun. I'd rather make a directional bet personally, but that's something that you could do if you just want to do long volatility itself.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked. Sorry, go ahead. No, you go ahead. It's fine.
I was just going to say, what's the game theory on how NFTs will react if price goes up or down? Like if ETH goes up, will people start rotating out of NFTs, or will they just say, I'm richer now? You know, like if ETH goes down, are people just trapped in NFTs because NFTs are going to crash? I don't know.
I think if it goes up, it'll be up in USD, gang, just like altcoins are.
That I think that's exactly it. Like if the market goes up in USD, if the market goes down, I think the smaller NFTs, and I mean, this could be just completely garbage. So, I mean, Ledger, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the NFT person. But like in my mind and how this usually works from like all the altcoin kind of trades I've taken over the years and kind of how this market works in general, like the smaller NFTs that less people are looking at are just going to shit the bed completely and you're not going to be able to get out if prices should go down. And then the bigger ones, like the ones like punks or whatever, I think those are going to stay around. Like I'm not the biggest NFT person, but I'd be very surprised if we didn't have like punks around in 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I'd be very, very surprised if like 90, 95, maybe even 99% of all the profile picture stuff beyond that would stick around for the next 5 years. That's kind of like how I look at these things. Like usually the bigger ones actually do better than the smaller ones, even though they're up a shitload more. On like a total basis, not on a relative basis. But yeah, that's kind of how I look at it.
People would rather bag hold of Fidenza that has like hit the cultural narrative than like some random profile picture of like, I don't know, penguins to FUDMO. And I like the penguins.
Yeah, I mean, they're cute. I honestly think like the one problem that I see more and more with the profile pictures is actually that you can't really recognize the people anymore. Like I legitimately don't know who like half of the people I'm following are anymore. Which
Bro, we're in the metaverse now, okay? And if you can't handle that, then you need to take a step back and ask yourself what you're even doing here, you know? Because
I mean, I guess I'm just too boomer. Like I've enjoyed real life in the last few weeks to months too much, so that I'm just not in it anymore. No, but like seriously, I think that's like a pretty decent sized problem where it's like, okay, you have these profile pictures, whatever, but no one associates anything with it, and the people that don't own those profile pictures can't tell you apart at all. Like I see punks and I have no idea whose it is. And I read the name and like I can't ever remember names. Like that's always been a problem of mine, even in real life.
You'll recognize me because I'll be running around the metaverse in my fluff suit.
A fluff suit in the sense of those creepy cats or what was it? The rabbits? Oh yeah, the rabbit. Yeah, that was Jesus fuck. Do you still have those? Fucking terrifying.
Of course I still have them.
Oh God.
They're the future of the metaverse, sir.
Okay, good to know.
How could you not want these?
You couldn't pay me, but then again, like to speculate on this stuff is super fun. which I don't want to take away from anyone.
This could be you. This is
Oh, Jesus Christ! Am I gonna have nightmares again?
This could be you.
Jesus.
I mean, a puff jacket, a little bow tie, some steam goggles.
Please.
I mean,
no, spare me.
That is amazing. Imagine running around the metaverse like this.
Oh God, no.
These things are freaking awesome. How do you not like that?
Dude, I seriously think like I was like at the cusp of internet like history like my entire life, and I feel like I'm starting to lose it. Like I'm starting to lose like
You're boomerang.
Yeah, I'm starting to boom out of it. It's not good.
I'm unboomerang. I'm trying to reconnect with the internet. I don't know. I think the fluffs are hilarious. People's cope on them is incredible. So I just imagine they're gonna do very well.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. The entire NFT space, I think, like, is just a world of its own. It's not something that I want to like comment on it too much, just based on my lack of trading knowledge there.
I do think there's going to be a lot of like on-chain gaming and stuff that people are kind of forced into, whether they like it or not, like gaming companies or indies, and like last thing the gaming companies want to do is see the independents just roll all over them. So I think that, games kind of getting into this ecosystem is going to be a huge thing, and very interesting for the future, because the gaming industry is massive, bigger than crypto.
Mm-hmm. I still remember like back in, or when was that? When Diablo 3 came out, they had like a real life, like real money auction house, whatever, where you could sell items for real money. And people fucking hated it. But I actually loved it. Like, it was a really nice market to just kind of make money on the side, but like while playing a game. So, I mean, if that's kind of how it runs, like, or how it's going to end up. But then again, like that was super centralized and they just took it away. No idea like how you could make that decentralized for games. But I mean, if they can make it, I mean, I'd love to do that. Like, I'm a gamer at heart. If you make like a game that's actually like good,
and
that I can play, and
you take your character from one game to the other, you can have a marketplace for your character that's sanctioned. Like, there's so many benefits. It's such a clear product market fit in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. Like, if the thing is, like, that's one of the things where I could see myself just sitting there gaming the system or trying to. I've always done that. Like I said, in Diablo 3, I was sitting there trading around more so than playing the game. Always been a lot of fun. So, I mean, fucking bring it. But I need a good game for that. Like, every single game I've seen in the crypto sphere has been majorly shitty, with like one or two exceptions where I say, okay, you could play this for like a week and then you start getting bored. So I need to get like something good in there.
Yeah, I don't think being in the in the crypto ecosystem makes a game good. But if a good game comes out in the crypto ecosystem, it's going to be transformative for the whole space.
I mean, I'm down with that, honestly.
I'm kind of surprised, like Eve, stuff that already has like a secondary market for NFTs like this. I'm surprised they haven't embraced this yet, because stuff like that would be perfect. Even like CSGO skins. There are plenty of examples of this that have already occurred. I'm just surprised they're not jumping on board with this stuff yet. Didn't like Burger King release an NFT and
or McDonald's? I don't know.
Somebody did.
A lot of brands are getting in on it, but that's not the same thing as a game.
No, it's not. But it just surprises me that they haven't done something to even test the waters out a little bit.
Yeah. So we should mention the actual price action on Phantom FTM. It's up 54% today. And it looked good, but then they announced this $300 million worth of incentives. So same thing as AVAX, but they like double the number that AVAX did. So now it'll be interesting to see if Phantom can go into price discovery. Certainly looks like it's gonna, and I'm sure the altcoins within that ecosystem are doing the same thing. So this is the activity now. Incentives turned into pumps, and off they go. So that's got to be the thing to watch from that perspective. My question:
Do you think? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think there's going to be a rotation from AVAX to like stuff from that ecosystem into like the new, like into the Phantom ecosystem based on this?
I think that's what already happened. I think this slowing down was purely profit takers that rode this over the past week or two and rolling into the next incentive program. So like, I think I'm still bullish on the AVAX stuff, but I definitely anticipate a lot of people will just like roll with that ball of money over to Phantom and just do it to all the layer ones with incentive programs, layer twos that come out with them. Like it's just gonna follow that ball of money.
I like it.
All right, my last question for y'all: do y'all think ETH or BTC are going to make their breakout moves between now and the next time we talk?
Yes.
No. I think it's going to take a month. I think we're just going to we'll go up a little bit, we'll go down a little bit, we'll do a bunch of nothing for a while.
A fake
legacy
out,
markets,
a fake out and back into the range would be an interesting result. Is that kind of what you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. I just think September is just a write-off. Legacy markets, though, exploding today.
Wow.
To the upside.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll move with that. I don't know. But no, I don't think... I think it's going to be a long time waiting for a move here, personally.
I honestly think it's going to be in the next few days. But I
hope so, because I'm pretty bored. But
I would love it to consolidate a little longer because I want time for my precious little altcoins to recover on a relative basis. Because I think if it breaks up severely, I don't know what NFTs will do, but I think altcoins will probably flow back into ETH.
Yeah, I mean that's always going to be the case, right? Big move on Bitcoin on ETH, not going to be too good. Like besides like the hype coin of the week, which like it's always funny when I say like, okay, yeah, be a little bit careful around altcoins because I mean I think Bitcoin or ETH or like in general like the market's going to move quite big, and then it does, and then people at me being like, you said this and like this and this special coin went up a shitload, and like, I mean that's not what you should be focusing on, right? I mean, you should be trading that coin that's outperforming, but it's like in general, like the market is just going to be trading like that. And then there's going to be a few exceptions to that rule. And those are usually the ones that are going to perform even better after. It's always funny when you see like, what's the next XXX, right? And it's usually just the thing that you're talking about, right? The thing that's going to go up most is probably the thing that you're looking for, kind of like the next thing off, if that makes any sense. Like, was that understandable at all? I tried to make it understandable.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. And I think we're going to have a significant move between now and next week. Should we leave it there?
I'm done. Yeah.
Josh, anything else?
I don't have anything else, really. I mean, DeFi is traded by like 3 people, according to Nansen, which was funny. That was a thing that came out this week. And DeFi is also ranging. DeFi perp is just kind of flat. So that'll probably break out, I'd imagine, if ETH and BTC break out as well.
I think the blue chip DeFi stuff has been the biggest victim of all this money flowing to other chains without, like, because these already have large market caps, but it's too expensive to use the products right now for most people. So like the equivalence on these other chains is the place for that money to go. And I think,
yeah, someone else posted another chart of DeFi against ETH, and it just continues to make all-time lows against ETH, even though ETH isn't doing anything. It's just funny.
Yeah. So like the DeFi perp looks fine, but well, it's not DeFi perp versus ETH. It's not. I think it's not making new lows, but it's not looking great. I don't know. Let's leave it there.
DPI.
Oh yeah,
DPI,
the DPI
ETH.
probably is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this has more stuff in it. The DeFi perp index. Thanks everybody for joining us. Go to weeklyopen.com to catch episodes of the show. Go to weeklyopen.com/FTX and make a trade on FTX app today. Rebranded from Blockfolio, but the same experience you've known and loved, where you can swap directly from one asset to another. You can earn yield on your tokens. You can track your portfolio like you've always known and loved. You can do it all on FTX and the FTX app by going to weeklyopen.com/FTX. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.